How come you agreed to come on the podcast today? Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Yeah, line of sight. Beautiful.
Well, I'm kind of want to put my name out there a little bit more.
Okay.
You know, I've been kind of.
How come that's important to you to put your name out there?
I'm going to be 50 in 3 weeks.
Congrats.
So, yeah, thanks. And
you don't look a day over 40, bro. Own that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And one of my icons is Warren Buffett.
Okay.
Okay, and I know he didn't make his first million until after he was 50 because he had a lot of failures before that. And, you know, you got to have a lot of failures in life in order to appreciate the success. So I've had a lot of failures in life and I succeeded in certain areas. And now what I want to do is I want to take my business to the next level. So I'm ready for that. And I want to kind of and in today's industry, today's social media platform, everybody wants to be Instagram, like I call them Instagrammies.
Instagram sensation. You want to be an IG star?
There you go. Want to become an IG star, become an influencer, I guess you want to call it. I don't know. But what I have what I call a successful business for me, you know, and what I want to do is I want to share my my experience with others. And so, you know, with inflation and everything else, a lot of people out of work, COVID, all that things. And
your industry is never short on work.
My industry was actually my business doubled. Okay, like say
it again. Your business what?
Doubled before the pandemic. Once the pandemic hit, it doubled, tripled.
You know what's beautiful? No one knows what you do yet. No. That's beautiful because we're not going to tell them. Because here's the thing. I think what's more important is this. How come your business doubled and tripled after COVID? Before you tell them what you do, how come you think it doubled and tripled?
So, Michael was a business owner, is a business owner. You know, he has a business. He sells furniture and other equipment and decors and stuff like that. And at the time I was working for Chanel. Right. And the Chanel in Beverly Hills, I used to do the maintenance and stuff over there. So one of the storage areas where they had, Chanel had their storage area, he had a store right next to them in the same place. And he sold all kinds of like different stuff like you have in your background, different kind of home decors and stuff like that. I was like, okay. And I went into his store and met him and this other guy, Matt, that worked for him. And I was like, oh, you guys got a lot of cool stuff. So I dropped, and everywhere I go, I drop a business card. Hey, if you guys ever need installers or something like that, here's my business card. But I like some of the decor and some of the stuff that you're selling. And I think I have a client that'd be interested in some of the stuff. So at the time I was working in a vegan restaurant in Santa Monica. Right. And then, so the owner wanted to change the decor. And I sold him some ideas on how we can get these panels and I can, kind of spruce up the big wall that we had that he just wanted to change. So I took him to the store and we bought 2 panels and I made a big picture frame out of it inside the restaurant and everything else. And, obviously he liked that I, brought business. We brought business to his place. So one time he called me up. He says, I need some work done in my house. Can you install some blinds? So I said, no problem. Went to his house, installed some blinds and stuff like that. And I don't know, he liked the way I worked. I cleaned up after myself. I kind of covered all the areas. I came up, professional, acted. And he was like, look, I got a lot of clients. And if I can bring you extra business, can we work something out? And I was like, sure. I'm always, because I always give referral. Like I give people a referral fee. So if they refer my business to somebody, I give them a little bit. Hey, here's the $200. Thank you very much for a referral. And they appreciate that. Or sometimes, hey, if you need something done in your house, let me know. And I go in and I complimentary, like, they might have a sink leak or they might have a change of faucet or put a curtain up or assemble a furniture.
You got to barter.
So yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So that's how I build my business. Okay. So and then everybody that, I go to their house and work, they always, hey, listen, what? My cousin or my mother or my dad or my brother or my sister needs something done at their house. And I go meet the brother or the sister or the cousin or the friend. And then from there, they're like, oh, I like this guy. He did, he did a beautiful job. He did very clean work. He was here for a couple of days, did his job, and then, fair in pricing. And then, hey, and they would call me. And I every time I meet somebody, I say, look, here's my card. And if you know anybody else that needs my services, let me know.
Ray Rad, I love promoting people, small business owners like yourself, because it's like, dude, you just need that opportunity. You need that, more people need to know about how you take care of people. How come you think you get invited back, that they want to have you come back and continue to help them? What is it about you?
Personality, value. They get value out of the work I give them. I'm fair in pricing, and then I give them the.
What about your standards?
My standards are high.
How come?
You have to keep your standards high. Otherwise, you have
no, you don't.
Value system.
I can show you all kinds of people that don't have high standards. How come you keep how come Ray Rad has such high standards?
The value system that I guess my dad gave.
Yeah.
My family gave, I guess.
What was that like? Tell me a story about your dad.
He's an awesome guy.
Yeah.
Makes me think, just makes me emotional with my dad. But he worked hard. He's an idol to me, to a lot of people. Some people don't like their dads. My dad's been very, very, I love my dad, just make me. We came in this country, as immigrants. I was 13 years old. My dad came here with me and my sister. We didn't have much. My dad had like $2,000, $3,000 in his pocket, which doesn't go past the first month, we stayed with my aunt for like maybe 2 months. And then my dad got us an apartment, got a job. And then for the first, I was 13 when I came to the US. I would say for the first 25 years of my life after that, my dad worked 2 jobs every single day, 7 days a week.
Fucking beast.
Yeah. So that taught me something that so now, we've been in the country about 40 years. My dad has 2 properties. My sister has a business. I have a business. We're successful. We work. And the hard work and determination of the just working, the value system of my dad are just hard work. And when we were kids, he did security at nighttime. So sometimes he would take us to the job with him at nighttime, and we just kind of hang out and watch the building. It's a business he used to work for, and he used to watch the building, basically at nighttime.
Did you enjoy those moments with your dad when you went?
Yeah, because me and my sister used to run around the property and just kind of play and watch TV. And then, we hanged out with my dad, and then, it was cool. And then whenever they had when they had office parties for the holidays, they always invited my dad and the kids. And then the owner had his kids. We used to play with their kids about my age. So it was a fun experience,
That's awesome. Do you guys, you're from what part of?
I'm Persian. I'm Persian.
Are you Persian?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm Persian too.
Are you? Oh,
yeah. I did not know that. I don't speak that much Persian. I don't speak that much Farsi.
Okay.
I said Persian. Wow. My mom was slapping right now. So we're going to ignore that. You're first generation.
I'm first generation.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
But where did you grow up? Like, where did you guys originally move to?
We came to New York. So
New York.
Yeah. So our transition was, we left Iran in 86. My dad tried, the first attempt was, we tried to leave because of the war, and obviously there was war going on in Iran and everything else. At that time, I was coming of age of kind of getting military training and going to the front lines and all that stuff. And my dad, wanted to take, didn't want me to go and die for the cause of the mullahs, So we left the country. We went to Austria, Vienna. We were there for almost a year waiting for a visa to get to the US. And originally we were supposed to come to California. Okay, we're supposed to come to my dad's older sister, was settled down here for years. She had a big house. She had space for her brother and 2 kids coming into, and, kind of support and stuff like that. So we can actually get
settled in to a new country.
Yep. So during the process of us waiting for our visa in Vienna, my aunt was diagnosed with breast cancer. And she passed away about a month and a half before we got our visa. So we got granted our visa, and by the time we got our ticket, my aunt has passed away. So our transition to the US was supposed to come to New York, see my other my dad's sister, and then from there come to California. We were going to stay like 2 weeks in New York and then transition over here. So when my aunt passed away, it was kind of a tough time for my family. So when we came to New York, my dad was just like, okay, well, I don't know what am I going to do? I'm going to go to California and go where? So we stayed in New York with my other aunt, and we were like all cramped up in a 1-bedroom apartment. My aunt had my cousin who was was like 6 years old at the time. So we stayed in the thing for like 2 weeks, and then my dad got an apartment for us, so we're not all cramped up and stuff. And my uncle helped my dad get a job, and so my dad worked multiple places until he got settled down and learned the language and everything else, and kind of went from there. My dad's hard work is what made my sister and I have the value system of just working hard.
And you bust your ass. I see your passion.
Yeah. I work like day and night, weekends. Everybody's like, why do you work so much? But it's because I love what I do.
Yep.
And because of that, it shows and people see that. So they maybe that's why they call me back. I don't know. That's,
Well, I mean, it's interesting. I talk to my 3 boys and I share with them, like, I actually want to take them to other countries so they appreciate the opportunity they have here. Not every country has the amount of opportunity that we have here. And I think you got to respect that. People and you could see, you could see the passion that you have for wanting to work hard. And that says a lot, family values. That's amazing that you guys had such an amazing bond.
Yeah. And that's another thing that a lot of people don't realize, that in this country, there's so much opportunities. A lot of people that have not left America, right, and haven't lived in other countries, they don't realize how much opportunity there is here in the United States and how much freedom we have here, and they take that for granted. That's why you see all these, I don't want to get into politics, but all the stuff you see in the schools and these protests and stuff like that, they wouldn't, if they lived in other countries and saw that the opportunities that was available here for anybody to succeed at any level. Okay, anybody can succeed at any level as long as you put the hard work to it. That's the key.
Yep.
And money is not an issue. There's so much money in this country that it's like, if you want to go get something, all you have to do is go get it. Okay, and a lot of people, they want stuff handed to them. The welfare system here is kind of, it's I think it's just something that's it's not up to par. Like they're giving people a reason not to go to work. They're giving people a reason to stay below a certain level. I think more for control than it is than for prosperity,
Well, I also want to talk about this. Like you're in the thick of it. It's not like you're standing as an outsider looking in. You have employees. When we've spoken a few times, you've talked about the work ethic. That it is in there, and you're having to step up as a business owner several times because people didn't, execute what they need to. It's really, really hard to be a small business owner right now because I think work ethic. What's your opinion about the work ethic of the next generations to come?
Well, what I know is,
what have you seen from your experience? Because that's all you could talk about.
Yeah, the kids these days, everything with social media, everybody wants to be an influencer, thinking they could make $1 million
right
overnight doing nothing. But there's no unless you hit the lottery, there's no fast way up. You have to start somewhere and you have to build it gradually, and just keep working at it every single day.
Yeah. And you're running, your revenues are well over 6 figures every year. So you obviously know what you're talking about because you built this. Like nobody handed you this business, right?
No, I had to build it from scratch.
Yep.
And
so do we want to tell them what business you actually have, what R&R Services does?
Sure.
Go for it.
Okay,
Ray, what do you do?
So I'm a handyman. I have a handyman business. I basically just go fix people's problems in the houses. I do everything from painting, from installing a door, installing TVs, installing cabinets, assembling chairs and furniture, installing floors.
And where are you guys based out of? This is for all our
we're based out of Los Angeles.
There you go.
And I do mostly West LA. So like Santa Monica, Beverly Hills, Marina Del Rey, Culver City, Venice.
Just the slums.
Yeah,
yeah. I get it. Just the slums. I got you. I'm just totally kidding.
Yeah.
LA people, I have nothing against you. That was. I'm in San Diego. I'm going to take a LA shot. I'm sorry, Ray Rad. I couldn't resist. Are you a Dodgers fan? I mean, what are you a sports fan at all?
I'm not really a sports fan.
Okay, good.
Sports fan.
That's okay.
More into business. And
let's go.
I was in when I went to college. I was a finance major in college.
There you go.
And I started. I got a job in Wall Street, like right out of college. So I was working as a stockbroker for like the first 4 years.
Okay, Leonardo.
Yeah, I lived that lifestyle for a bit. I didn't make as much money as he did, but
most people don't. It's okay.
Yeah, it's hard work. People don't realize you got to sit there. You got to go into office at like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, and you're on the phones all day. 400, 500 dial numbers a day, and then it's like 7, 8 o'clock at night, and then you're again, an hour ride home or whatever else, and then you have to do this 6 days a week in order to be able to succeed.
Biggest lesson I've learned as an entrepreneur, and I got started late in life as far as an entrepreneur is concerned, because there is a fear factor. Like, you end up working so much more as an entrepreneur than you ever did as an employee.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes. Okay, so there's been a couple of times that I had to just kind of fire all the guys I had, okay, just because it was just a headache. It just wasn't enough. It was just too much. And if you don't structure your business in a certain way, you're bound to lose money, okay? And that happened to me a few times. I lost money because of I tried to grow too fast, right? And that caused me some issues where mismanagement, I guess, on my part, just because not managing the guys that I had on the job site, or not doing different things.
Yeah, processes, systems.
Yeah, so exactly. So it took me years to kind of learn the processes and systems to put in place in order to have that succeed, where people call you back. So when you have the employees on the job site, you have to have a certain system. If they don't follow the system, what's going to happen is that client's not going to be happy, and they're not going to call you back. They're gonna be like,
ever.
I don't like it. Exactly. So I lost a lot of clients that way, just because the employees that I had didn't follow the system.
Right.
They'll scratch the floor. They didn't cover the floor properly. Get dust all over the furniture. Don't put plastic on it.
Standards.
Exactly. So when you walk into somebody's house, it's always, listen, you have to. It's their home. It's their kingdom. It doesn't matter if it's $1 million house, $100,000 house, a $10 million house. I worked in all of them, and when I go into their house, I treat every single one the same as it's $100,000 house. I still treat it like a $10 million house.
Because it's their home.
It's right. So you go in, you put the paper down, you cover the carpet, you cover the furniture.
I love it.
You tape the walls, you do all these little things.
That's a Ray Rad experience.
That's it. And then these things, exactly.
You could write that down. You guys,
there you go. That's
when you see the Ray Rad experience shirts,
that's it.
I just want residual. No. I'm just kidding. That was a total joke. I'm not going to entrepreneur mode. I really I have a lot of respect for business owners that have high standards and aren't going to settle for anything less than that, because I think that's how you differentiate your brand and who you are, by how you operate and, how you treat people. Right is right. Like if you get paid to deliver a service, deliver that service. And if you don't deliver that service, then figure out a way to solve it.
Yep.
Right. How come, so you're going to start an online course. How come the handyman business is worthwhile? It's recession proof, right? Because everyone owns homes and shit goes.
Exactly. So one of the things in my early years, actually, one of the things that I think they should teach in school, which I didn't learn till I went to college. Okay, and when you take a business course in college, part of it's economics, business law and economics, right? So I didn't really understand economics at first. But when you start to study economics, and over time, as you grow, you start to realize how that affects every single part of the business. So if you have a storefront, you have to have traffic. Okay, now social media, you can get online traffic, but before, if you didn't have foot traffic, your store is not gonna succeed. So in the beautiful part about the handyman business, there doesn't take a lot of startup cost in order to get the business going. So anybody, any parts of the country can start their own business locally from, just little simple little projects from friends and neighbors, and then establish themselves as an authority in the industry and get clients from there. As long as they do it in a way that it's gonna bring in more business, and they have to have a high standard for the quality work that they're giving to other people.
So what's your course going to help someone do?
How to structure their business, how to do certain things that would impress the client. Okay. It's like one of the key things is when you go to somebody's house. All right. Like, for example, when I walk in somebody's house, I always take my shoes off, right? I'm always wearing boots. And sometimes I'm on a job site, my boots get dirty, dusty, whatever else. When I walk to somebody's house, they might see paint splatter all over the shirt and stuff like that. And the first thing that they do, they're like, do you have any booties? I'm like, oh, no, I'm going to take my shoes off before I walk in the house. They're like, oh, so I walk with slippers and socks in my own house or barefoot in my own house. So I respect other people's house. And because it's a tradition, a Persian tradition, when you go into the house,
yep.
you take your shoes off,
yep.
or it's not something that's uncommon for me. And a lot of people, they find that they're impressed by it. It's a very
respectful thing.
Yeah. What is it?
Great first impression.
First impression. So when they see that, they're like, this guy has a value system. This guy has respect. So, and I make my employees do the same thing. So like when they go in somebody's house, take your shoes off. If you're going to work somewhere, you don't want to take the shoes off. Then we go in, shoes off. We cover the floors, put paper down, put plastic. If you have to move furniture, put the plastic down. And then when we walk back outside, now you put your shoes on, now you're walking on paper.
Bam.
And you're not putting footprints all over their floors. And at the end, when we leave, we take everything out, vacuum. We vacuum up the dust, vacuum up whatever is left over, make sure everything is covered. Sometimes one of the things I do on when we're painting or sanding after we patch up a wall, I make sure that there's like double or triple layer of plastic, Pinter's plastic on the furniture, because in the past, when you have one layer of plastic and have dust on it, and you're trying to clean that, you're trying to wrap up that plastic, the dust just kind of goes into the air and settles down on the furniture. So I always make my guys have especially bedrooms, people's bedrooms, master bedrooms.
Smart.
So
you fold it up again.
So we put two or three layers of plastic down on the bed. Usually like one roll of plastic costs you $20. When you take a look at the square footage on a thing, it costs you pennies, like 2-3 cents for a piece of plastic that's 10 feet by 20 feet wide that you could just cover a bed with. All right, and I'll put like 2 or 3 rolls on it. So when the job is done and we're finished sanding and doing whatever else, we take the first layer, and then while the floors are usually covered, the plastic is already on the table, on the furniture. So the first layer, when the dust goes up, it just settles down on the second one. When you take the second one, there's really not a lot of dust. So then that protects where you don't have to sit there and try to vacuum or pay for washing their sheets or getting them angry as, oh my God, you got so much dust in here and I have to clean everything up.
And you would understand that. It's like that extra step of paying attention to detail gets you more and more referrals in business.
Yes.
It's a no-brainer. It's exactly. Like, hey, you're making my life easier. You're saving me time. You're taking care of my possessions the way you would take care of your household items. Amazing. Of course, you're going to invite that person back.
Yeah. Sometimes I get text messages from clients, and because a lot of clients, and then I establish a trust factor with the clients. I make sure that the guys don't touch anything in the house that's not theirs, because a lot of the handyman or guys that they go in and steal stuff from people's houses and stuff like that. So a lot of people, they don't feel comfortable because they had those experiences in the past. So they're like always watching. So I establish a trust factor, and that's very important. And make sure that my employees, when they go into the people's homes, they respect the other people's stuff, because you might have something on the shelf that they might not think it's value, but that has sentimental value for the person. That's even if it's $5,000, it's irreplaceable.
Right.
if you break the item or something like that. So I make sure that they have enough respect for people's stuff in whatever it is, and to cover the floors, cover the and then people like that.
How hard is it to find good employees right now?
Very hard.
How come?
Most of the guys that are good already have a job.
Right.
So the guys that are without work, there's got to be a reason. So I usually have to, I vet the guys. Sometimes for like 6 months, they have to sit next to me in the car. We go to the job site and they work next to me, so I can see their value system, their personality, work ethic. And if they're not up to par, then I just kick them to the curb. It's people are a dime a dozen. There's a lot of people, but quality people are, it's like a needle in a haystack.
Hard to find.
Yeah.
You got to go find those people.
That's it.
They don't just show up at your door.
That's it.
I'm ready to work. Hire me. I'm in. First podcast experience. We definitely threw you to the deep end of the ocean. Most people don't start as this is their first podcast. What was it like for you? What did you enjoy?
It's a fun experience. I mean,
what's fun about it?
Just the whole experience. I mean, it's like,
is it the lights? Is it the cameras? Is it the questions?
Well, I'm trying to, because, you get nervous. A lot of people get nervous in front of the cameras, so they get camera shy. So I try not to think. Yeah.
So is it the cameras that are throwing you off?
No, I don't. I try not to pay attention to the cameras at the moment, because even though, I mean, my social media, I'm not too camera shy. So because I got to be in front of the camera myself to kind of post some stuff on social media. So I try not to think about it. But I know that as a first-time experience, sometimes people get nervous or whatnot. But so far I feel comfortable. You're an awesome guy. Very hospitable. Personality is awesome. So make me feel comfortable and make it an enjoyable experience.
Yeah. How did you think you answered the questions?
I tried to be as honest as possible. I guess I get
easy,
just kind of
easy. It's just being yourself, man.
Yeah, that's it.
That's all it is. So here's the key to having an amazing podcast. It's all about you. It's never about the host. And so I thought this would be helpful for you to sit there and see that, hey, even when you stumbled, I didn't care. I'll walk you through it.
Right.
I wanted you to feel that experience. Those cameras, they all disappear. You might think about them right now, but they don't exist.
Right.
Because once they're there, all we're going to do is just talk about them. And for you, you got to get in front of the camera way more. Like all of this is your pauses, your hesitation. It's just you don't have enough camera time. Once you get the camera time, you'll be super smooth. So one of the things I would suggest is like when you said, and I know you don't mean this. You don't mean when employees don't work out that you kick them to the curb. It's just time to part ways. Like it's not just, you and I know that, but the way you're going to convey yourself is that you kick people to the curb, which you really don't, because I've gotten to know you.
Right.
Like, I don't think you treat people like that, but you're also not going to carry people on the team that ruin your reputation.
Yeah. If they wearing a shirt and they because when a lot of the buildings and the places where I have contracts with, or that I'm on a regular, like I do a lot of commercial and residential. Okay, so the commercial is a lot of, I have medical offices, dental offices, urgent care centers, and restaurants, law offices. So that I go and, like, over the years, because I service them myself, I know the doctors, I know the owners, the building owners. So these people respect. So sometimes when people are going in today wearing a shirt, okay, they represent me. So if they don't represent me the proper way, and I give them, hey, listen, when you're walking into a place, because I always have this this conversation with all the new employees, and I tell them, look, you got a shirt on, you represent me. Okay, so you have to act professional. And there's a time to play, there's a time to be serious. If there's eyes on you, you have to be serious. If we're by ourselves, then, because I have a little funny personality, so I like to joke around. Yeah. And I feel like if you joking around and stuff like that, it makes the environment more fun. So you just kind of like a fun personality. So I try to tell people, look, be serious, when there's eyes on you, and then you can play around when there's not, and then have a balance.
Yep.
You know, and then so there's no goofing off on the job site. You have to be professional. You know, and these things make a difference. Make a difference.
It makes all the difference.
Yeah. So
especially, I can't imagine how competitive. So, I think you're going to have a lot of like nuggets in that section. And now that you experience like sitting in that chair, like it's freaking hard to do this, but we're going to knock their socks off. Because I don't care whether the guest struggles or not. We're going to walk them through it. We're going to give them, like, you have enough content, you'll get at least 4, 5, 6 reels out of that. And I also think that you could talk about, like, when I asked you about your story, did you notice you weren't storytelling? Social media is about storytelling. Correct. Storytelling allows people to connect with you, and you got a great story because you built this business from the ground up. Your first generation, your father taught you work ethic, and the emotional part. I love that you were vulnerable, and I'm not going to pause. I'm going to keep going with it, you know, because that shows that you're human. You know, that was a special moment. I guarantee you that's the scene that is going to go viral.